Hi guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of our contour hands project. I finished my blind contour drawing and I tried to include as many details as I could, including my fingernails, even some wrinkles that I saw on my hands, the band that's on my watch. I have some holes that are here. Uh, and now that I have this part done, I'm going to do the next type of contour, which is our regular contour. So we're moving on from blind contour to contour, and we're going to keep this triangle composition that we talked about in part 1. If you have not watched part 1, please do that first and then watch this video. So what I'm going to do is flip my paper around because I want this hand to point up towards my next one. And maybe I might want to change my hand so that it's doing something different. I could have it holding outward, or maybe I have a thumbs up. This person looks like they're pointing down here. Maybe I'm doing a thumbs up here. I think that's kind of cool. So you can play around with it. If you want to do your initials, maybe you know sign language, you could hold your hand in the different letter formats in order to, uh, spell out something. Um, it's your choice. I mean, however you want to hold your hand, just make sure that it's in a comfortable position because you're going to have to hold it there for quite a few minutes. Okay, so I'm going to do the thumbs up because I think that's kind of cool. And this time, remember with contour drawing, I can look at my object and my paper. Now, we're going to be looking at our object 50% of the time and our paper 50% of the time. So make sure that you're moving your eye back and forth between your paper and the object that you're drawing. That's really key in order to get accurate proportions, placement of objects, and just overall everything kind of fits together. We call that the gestalt or the whole. So let's get started. I'm going to start finding a point somewhere on my hand, and I don't have a lot of space up here, so I think this time I'm going to start at my wrist, and I'm going to start at the edge of my paper because I want my hand to kind of just fill this area so that I have this big area for my last one, my final one. Okay, so I think this is probably enough space here. Let me start with my wristband. I'm looking down at my paper and my object, and I'm going to very, very, very slowly. And you'll notice as you're doing your contour drawing versus your blind contour that things start to look a little bit um, more realistic. Okay. And if you make a mistake with your contours, guys, don't worry. Especially if it's a contour, blind contour, you don't really need to erase. But contour drawing, if you draw something in the wrong spot and you want to erase, that's fine. I'm drawing pretty dark, so I'm probably not going to have that opportunity to do that. But for those of you that have a hard time drawing things lightly so that it erases really nicely, use your 2H pencil. I'm using just a regular HB pencil so that it shows up on the screen. But for those of you guys that you know want to make these pristine and perfect, make sure you're using a 2H pencil. That's the lightest pencil that we have in our pencil cases, or any H pencil that's in there, and then that way you'll get some really nice um, fine lines that you can erase, very light lines. And with my contour drawing, guys, the other thing that you want to notice is the shape of the spaces between objects. So I'm looking at this shape that's here to capture that. We're not just looking at the object, we're also looking at the negative spaces that are created. That helps us too when we're drawing. Space is really, really important when we're drawing. So I'm going to continue with my contour drawing. I like to always start with any contour drawing, getting the outline done first, and then going back in and getting some detail there. So I just think that that's kind of helpful with like placement, getting the placement of all the little parts down. And I think you'll notice too that when you take use this type of drawing, that you realize like, wow, there's so many different angles and shapes and bumps and curves that are that are created in this type of drawing. And I'm already noticing that I have an issue here. My hand's not lining up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase and go back in. Erase from about here. Let's go there. Just go back in. All right, and I'm off the page. Now I'm just going to go back in, add some other details. Maybe I'll add this fingernail that kind of comes up, connect that part. That's there. You can see a little bit of the white fingernail. Go back in here. I see that there's a line here. So anytime that you see a line or an edge of an object, a contour, right, go back in and draw that. So I'm going to continue working on this, adding in all my details just like I did with here. If I see any kind of issue with proportion and that kind of thing, like I know this knuckle is a little bit too short, so I might go in and fix that up. Yep, I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you in the next video what we're going to do for cross contour drawing. All right, see you soon.